Good evening. Welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the think show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't find his way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the indigenous one.
I found something out. I found something out. Then I'm gonna end. I found something out. Then I'm gonna end this. I found something out. My mom just told me that my mom grandmother was full blood Cherokee. So I'm Native American. I was like, oh, hello. So I'm a super mutt. I don't know what I am. But this what was so funny. This what was so funny. I said, Mom, why you never said anything to it?
That's the African American. That's the African American. That's not just Herschel Walker. That's all of them. Black, Negro. When you communicate with them, that's how they sound. What's up, Keith Cobb? Keith Cobb says all that agent did when he claimed to be indigenous was give these pale face more ammo to deny our true existence. I truly believe it was staged. That's what Keith Cobb say. I agree with him. You see how we sound? You see how African Americans sound when you talk, when you ask them a questions? I don't be playing. I'm not trying to put nobody down. This is a he's been they boy for a long time. Ran the football for him, did MMA fighting for him. He's just been a shine his whole life. But this is how the African American sounds, all of them. You hear Maxine Waters, you hear all these politicians. This is how they sound. But this really is not about Herschel Walker. Because remember what the name, they're all the same pieces in one big chess game. All Herschel Walker is out there to do is to keep you stupid. Because just because he played football, many Negroes love him just because he played football. Just because he played football. These are the cats they have out representing you. And from that video I just shown, if you've seen any of the other ones and what people are saying, that debate him and that other guy put on, this shit, the other guy is worse than him. These are the African Americans. These are the cats that went and got all that education, made millions of dollars. That's what I'm saying. That's how you shape and mold the Negro. He'll be whatever you tell him to be. And what you just heard right there, that's normal in the African American rings of circle. That's how they all sound. One of the things you can't say about Herschel Walker, and this is something we never hit on, and when you hit on that, everybody will back out your way. Listen to how he sounds. Where else in the world do they sound like that? I'm not talking about what he's saying. I'm talking about his diction, his delivery. How does he sound? He sounds like a guy from the South, the people in the South, the indigenous people in the South. Oh, yeah, but what he said is right. Yeah, you are Indian, but you probably misconstrued it like your mama told you because you don't question anything. You just get out there and start running your mouth to make an ass out of yourself. And if you look at the circles, I mean, what's the cat name? He's really whack, but Negroes love him. Roly poly. Excoriated. And dude, aren't you from somewhere else? If I went to where you're from, I wouldn't be allowed to say anything about the politicians because they're trying to run their country. And I don't have no say so because I don't live there. But you think that you can do it here. And you guys that follow him, you're gonna be getting checked real soon. Herschel Walker, I mean, dude, Native American? See, and like the brother said, Keith said, this was staged because nobody can be that dumb. Native American? Yeah, you're right. Cherokees are Native American. That's their thing. If you're down there in Georgia, you got all kind of people, indigenous people down in Georgia. By the way, you know what you might want to ask the brother Kwame Brown. Y'all sound the same. You got the same diction, the same speech that's part of you, the same speech that your people spoke. But now you're just using that to speak dumb because that's what you're doing. Native American. Then he gonna embarrass himself and call himself a mutt. For real, cuz? For real? This is what the African American does. Every other nation that's over here in America pimping the Negro, every other nation is on the ground laughing. You can go check them out. You look up that debate. I mean, you can look it up as many platforms as all. But you look up that debate he just had with the other cat that's running in Georgia, Warnock. If you look at that debate, don't look long. You won't be able to even look long. Two new coons in town. That's what it sounds like. Idiots that are being paid to do another man's business. Right? Right. Don't have no answers for nothing. Neither one. So ever since that sister pulled the mask off, that Georgia is majority Negro, they got to put people in who's going to work for them. Herschel Walker, that's all he knows how to do. He done messed up the indigenous thing, so he couldn't even articulate that. And you're going to have them fix the schools for your children? For real, cuz? Y'all, for real? Yeah. Unfortunate. So, where's your political party? Neither one works for you. Where's the indigenous people's party? You'd win everything. Everybody's on your side but you. Because we want to act like Herschel Walker. I'm a mutt. I don't know what I am. I don't know. I mean, this is a cat that's running for governor. This cat is running for governor. Matthew Copper say they use the word black more than they use the word African American. Yeah, you're right, Matthew. But I'm in the presence of a lot of professional people. They're basically just Negroes who went to college, and they like to use the word African American because it gives them more prestige. I hope I know you get that. You know, Black is looked down upon. That's why they change the words all the time. There's always world play. You used to didn't be called African American. That's a new term. When you ask people what's an African American, they won't even know. Try it, do it to anybody on the street. What's an African American? Watch the look in their face. Watch the deer in the headlights look in their face. What's an African American? What is it? Something that didn't exist 50 years ago. Herschel Walker is a prime example of that. You let people change who you are, change your identity, you will be what they decide to change you to. This is what I mean by African Americans. This is what I mean by Black. This is what I mean by Negro. This is what I mean by colored. Other people can't define you and your phenomenon. You do that. And still on it, pushing it, pumping it, putting money into it. Look at the African American and what's happening to them. Used to live to be 100 easy. Easy. What was it, 70 now? Life expect you die off like that because you have no connection to yourself. You have no connection to the land that birthed you. Right? Right? See, those Indians can go suck off the vine of India. Those Africans can go suck off the vine of Africa. Everybody else can suck off the vine of where their roots spring from. Those are important, right? You would think. Those are important, right? The roots, I mean, where your mama come from? Where your daddy come from? It's supposed to be in the soil of America. No, you say it's not. You say it's in Africa. You say it's in Jerusalem. You say it's in Egypt. You say it's in Greece. You ever wonder why the Negro always trying to run away to another country? Seriously, ask yourself that question one time. You'll get the answer immediately. Why does that? Why does the indigenous people of America, why are they always trying to be somebody else, be who they're not, be who other people are trying to represent? Most of the Africans over here now sound more like your mom and daddy than you do. Right? Right. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. Listen, see what's going on, understand what's going on, then you'll be able to deal with it later. If you try to shun it and run from it, it's going to come back up because it's back up now. And you're not going to know how to deal with it because you ran away from it the last time you heard it. Never talk about nothing that makes sense or how it's going to make it work in your favor. No, always run from it. If you don't and you think about it, you'll come up with ways to fix the problem. And that's what you're here to do, solve problems, right? Right? You have brothers saying, man, you talking all that talk, man, we can't do nothing. Eh, Why is it that everybody else uses you to build their empire, but you think you can't do nothing for yourself. Explain that. Somebody, please. Anybody can use you to build their empire, and you'll brag about it and say what hand you had in it. It wouldn't have happened without you, right? So if your children gonna go another way, because you don't want them to keep going this way, you don't want no more Herschel Walkers, do you? You want some intelligent, articulate young men and women up there. Middle age, old age. This is what the African American sounds like when they speak. I don't know. Remember what Herschel Walker said? This is one of those $1 million cats, which shows you when you're dealing with fiat currency, remember that it's fiat. It's fiat. If they say we're going to the digital dollar tomorrow, what's going to happen with everybody? When they pull the plug from under this housing hype that they're doing now, like they always do, then what? You don't produce your own money. Everybody comes to your home to make money off of you, and you happy with it. Oh, you happy. This is the African. These are the Herschel Walkers. These are the politicians, all of them. This is how they are. You can't go to Africa and do what they do over here. They're going to use this. You know what they're going to do? They're going to show this to. Are they this dumb? Yeah. Go check out what some of these other platforms, these foreign platforms, are saying about that Herschel Walker thing. You'll be pissed. So all I'm saying is this. I know you're gonna get mad because you want to do what you want to do. You want to be okay. Please don't send your kids down that road Herschel Walker went down. I don't know if it's too many hits to the head on the football or whatever. But see, this is what the world thinks of us. This is the reputation. This is the representation that we give the world of ourselves. You know, many of us, we're not running for governors, vice president, none of that. But this is how they portray you to the world. And this in all politics. Politics isn't there for you. The politicians are there to make money. Got to come up with another way. Because it's working for them, but it's not working for you. And when you realize what you are, who you are, you'll start making those changes. So, I'll say something that Herschel Walker said his grandmama said. And I didn't read or get into what his grandmama said, but she probably told him something that, yeah, we're the indigenous people down here and we're from this area. And Herschel Walker, because this is how the African Americans think. They don't think of themselves as being connected to the land. African Americans only do what somebody else tells them to do. Once you get that, once you understand that, you got it. You on your way. The African American never thinks. The African American never say, wow, how come we don't have a history? Where does our history begin? They don't say that. They sit until they are told, right? You got to be real with it. When you be real with it, you will start to get it. Once you get mad, oh, you lying, you lose it. See it for what it is. That's how you change it, or at least change yourself. This whole political game. Start talking to your people. Start talking to your family. Start talking to the friends, the people in your clan. Just ask them. Isn't it about time we had our own political party? You used to, where the men and women used to run it. That's why they got you hating each other now. So you never get that continuity back. And we just play into it. So you remember a lot of this stuff that's put in front of your eyes. This is staged, rehearsed, everything. You got to go to dress rehearsal. You got to rehearse the lines, everything, because none of them are saying makes no sense. And if you checked out that Herschel Walker, anytime you hear him talk, what is he talking about? Nothing. And he's running for governor. You think he's gonna win after that? And the cat who's running with him no better. You know, they never let people like us get around them to ask questions. You ever notice that? You see how that game is completely controlled? You see how that Haitian chick, that dude always asks her questions. She just always lies. Just a constant lie. Jean Pierre or Kim Jean Pierre, whatever her name is, she don't even know what to say. She just lies. Those are puppets. They're not speaking their own minds, which is really what they're trying to get you to do, not speak your own mind. The African American doesn't speak his own mind. African American says what he's told to say. Show me one that's not. Show me one that's not. Be honest. Come on, we try to make a space here for free speech. What? You're not gonna grow if your mind's not growing. If you saying the same stuff you were saying in the 1960s, you haven't grown a bit. Huh? How many countries were represented in America in 1965 compared to how many are represented today? Huh? I'd say over 100. We cool with it. It's for everybody. This is what African American says. So you see the kind of politicians they have you running for governor for. What are the schools going to be like when these cats are in there? Because it's always with the politics is trying to get rid of you. Negroes should be running Georgia. What? Alabama, Mississippi. What? Because we don't think if I call you who you were, you get mad at me. All the people, all that land down in Georgia, who are those people of that land in Georgia? They sound like Herschel Walker. They got that Southern drawl. You can call it that. Anywhere you go, the people wherever you go, the people who are there, they're not going to sound like the people here. They're not going to sound like the people in Mexico. They're not going to sound like the people in Brazil. They have their own tongue, their own dialect. So do you. Can you imagine the people where Herschel Walker are from? Can you imagine when they spoke what they sounded like 300 years ago? 200 years ago, the things they were saying when they weren't touched, when they were just doing their business, whatever they were doing before Cortez and all those people got here. Can you imagine what they sounded like? What they said? When you read the books, and that's why, read the books, go back and get the oldest books you can find. You can find them, or find people who have them and have them make you copies. You will pay them to make copies, whatever it is. See how the people talked back then versus how the people who came over here talked. Remember, you're speaking American English. This isn't the English that the colonizers brought with them. They didn't speak like this. They came into you and started speaking your language, right? See, when we claim all these other groups that we're in, we leave all that behind. Don't we? We leave all that behind. So with what you heard, what Herschel Walker just did, what you think the Africans are saying? Because they'll tell you, if you wasn't born in Africa, you not an African American. That's what Africans are saying now. And guess when they say that, what the Negro over here says? Nothing. Don't let your kids be erased. Because what we call the African American now, they don't mind it at all. See, the African American thinks if he's bought products from other people, don't they call them the biggest consumers in the world? He think he can consume himself to reparations. He think he can consume himself to freedom. You got everything you need. Start watching the animals. Start watching the insects. See how that's all you got to do. How they do it. How the ants do it. How the squirrels do it. Come up with your own time. You always gonna be late using somebody else's clock. One more time, because I know what you say. You always gonna be late using somebody else's time. Or wouldn't that throw the world for a loop? You're not ready for that because you want to keep running in somebody else's circles. Don't do your kids like that. Give them a chance. They can figure it out now if you would just tell them the truth. You see how smart these kids are? Genius. Genius. Give them a problem, they'll solve it. Long as they haven't been twisted up first. Give these kids a problem. They'll solve it and it won't take long. Only takes long when you put those games in their hands. You set them in front of the TV. You give them all the sugar and stuff, the Similac. That's when they start losing it. You know it. They be solving problems for you already. These kids ain't no joke. Don't leave them in this world that we call the world today. Don't hide anything from these kids. Tell them the truth. Tell them the truth. Come up with your own holidays. because the whole job is to erase you from the planet. I know you see it by now, and have other people come take your place. You don't see that? Yeah, you see it. I mean, you can say, I don't see it. You see it. You can pretend, but that's what the civil rights generation has done. They pretended like they didn't see what's going on, and they went with what everything was being said. Now they're so deep in it, they can't even help you. That's the civil rights generation. They helped build their master's empire. They didn't build any for themselves. You can try to say all that you've done. No, you did it according to somebody else's system. Roaches have their own system. You was always into somebody else's, where your children are sacrificed so they can get ahead. So you can keep going that route. Go ahead. You can do whatever you want to do. Tell these kids the truth. And if you vote for Herschel Walker, you just as twisted as he is. Really? Brother said he's running. They're running for senator. I mean, they're all the same to me. This is how they punking you. Then you got these Negroes out here calling themselves black. What's the other thing? Just all over the place. You see millions of us just confused. Find your people, find yourself. You guys have a good night. Peace.